It's Wednesday morning. Welcome to West Breakfast. Hashtag what do you say? My name is Omotoshola Shari Maki. And with me are the ladies. Hello, ladies. Good morning to
Good
you.
Good
morning. How are
morning.
you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
A bit under the weather, but I'm good.
Oh, I think it's the weather generally because I've been feeling that way since. I felt under the weather yesterday. I felt so cold. I had to sleep with a very thick jacket, which is so unusual of me. How about you, God's beauty?
I'm okay. I just have probably like mental not size. They see me see while and I don't know call mental issue. Okay, but I'm not really feeling so well. Kind of
Right.
have some body issue, but I'm fine.
Oh, so sorry. For me, I've been stuck with a red glasses since morning because my black glasses broke, and I'm yet to fix my.
Human issues.
Yo, this is before I would have said wardrobe management or wardrobe disaster, but this is less disaster now. So I cannot rock a red glasses on my outfit, so I don't start to look like my coat of many colors. But then, how are you guys doing? Today is Wednesday, midweek. We have just 2 days to go. I don't know. I'm always excited about the weekend.
That's the
I
thing because
don't
I'm
know.
just looking at you. I'm like, is how you count these things for me?
I don't know. I'm
I
always
just
excited about
count
the
days,
weekend.
and then when it's the weekend, it's the weekend. When it's a new week, it's a new week.
Bro,
I don't really do
that's,
the thing
I'm
I
now.
good.
still feel weekend should be extended by a day because I oftentimes feel like I have just one day to my weekend. It's I get to around 10 because at times I spend 3, 4 hours on the road. So get to around that 10. That Friday is literally off, right? So I've only Saturday to myself,
And
Sunday
then Sunday to
church,
prepare
the
again.
Sunday church, and then Sunday again. I'm back. I feel like I want like let's stretch it further.
Me, I
But
don't
then
really
I'm
talk. I
excited.
wish there is something we
Are you
can do
sure we should
about
not
it.
start a protest?
Protest.
Extend the
It's
weekend.
not that deep now.
If you're here to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share the link. Today, Wednesday, is where we get to talk about health and wellness. And today, we will be talking about a very common health issue in the lives of Gen Zs. We'll be talking about PCOS, which is often called polycystic ovary syndrome. And we'll be joined by a doctor, a gynecologist, a consultant much later to help us analyze this topic. Right about now, we'll be going on a short break to return with our headlines across the globe. Please be on standby. Yeah, welcome back to the show. It's still West Breakfast, hashtag what are you saying? And now it's time to go to the pages of today's newspaper. And today we will be reviewing the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the New York Times. I'll be starting from the Punch newspaper. The major headline here states, fuel crisis lingers as NNPC seeks first $2 billion crude back loan. Under it, NNPC in talks for another oil-backed loan to boost its finances, says Kiari. Oil firm wants new loan against 30,000 naira to 35,000 naira barrels per day of crude production. At the top corner of the Punch newspaper, NEF demands grazing reserves as Tinubu plans livestock ministry. And blackout NERC rolls out tough sanctions against discos. Coming from the Federal Airport Authority, 19 Nigerian airports not viable. And at the bottom corner of the Punch newspaper, Nigerian drug barons flees South Africa arrested in Imo mansion. Below it, court orders forfeiture of Nimasa's fund diverted under Jonathan's government. Rescue abducted Kaduna journalist families, Nipan tells federal government. And finally, on the page of the Punch newspaper, how Emefiele awarded CBN contract to own companies, says witness. And the story that caught my attention the most is that of how a Nigerian drug baron fleeing South Africa was arrested in his Imo mansion. I'll read the details of the story. A drug baron on the wanted list of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, identified as Joachim Mbono, has been arrested. Mbono was arrested by operatives of the NDLEA in his village mansion in Imo State on July 5. In a statement yesterday by the agency spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, he said Mbono was arrested alongside with his associate. He stated that Mbono belonged to a drug cartel behind the production of methamphetamine. He further says that the cartel, with operational bases in Imo and Rivers State, became a target for the agency following intelligence indicating that it was responsible for the distribution of substantial quantities in the southeast, south-south, and other parts of the country. The bottom part of the story says Baba Femi has escaped from South Africa, where he lived for many years and mastered the art of cooking methamphetamine after he came under investigation for drug dealings. He added that upon his return to Nigeria, he continued the criminal trade by setting up laboratories in remote villages to shield his nefarious activities. This is good news to our ears. And on this note, I'd like to say a big kudos to the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, because they've been in the news a lot this year and they've been doing a lot of arrests, picking up drug cartel owners, picking up busting drugs at different borders. They are doing a very great job at that. Although I once heard that when they bust these people and collect drugs from them, they oftentimes end up releasing them through the back doors. I hope this is not the story, and I hope this will not be the story. We are trying to curb intake of drug on this show, or someone once said that this generation will not live long, and I asked why. She said an average Nigerian youth right now is used to taking drugs, used to taking one or two substances, and all these things we later tell at our old age. So I hope that we try to curb this thing by taking this drug out of the market gradually.
That's if you get to old age. But I'll take us through the Guardian newspaper, and the headline reads, Tinubu woos headers with livestock ministry, increases fiscal strain. And in the middle of that, we have a story that says Nigerian Bar Association allays concerns over Samoa agreement as reps ordered suspension. On the right-hand side, we have the federal government enlists NSA military to secure power infrastructure against vandalism. Below that, we have farmers decry sale of Ondo Forest Reserve to firm. And we also have the story that reads, Kwasu expels 175 students for theft, possession of firearms, and others. Below that, we have witnesses tells court how Emefiele moved funds to wife coffers. And the last but not the least story, Senate raises alarm over empty food reserve, warns of imminent protest. I think I have two stories here that I really want to talk about, but I will just keep talking about this Samoa agreement because it feels like there's this LGBTQ thing that has been going on about the whole Samoa agreement from the government. But the government have come to say that the ones that they have signed has nothing to do with LGBTQ rights. But people are still, the fact that they hear it, there's a lot of stories going on around that. So I think that we should have a clear, maybe
Understanding on what it is
understanding about by the government, maybe by the media age, to the president, stating that this is what we have in the Samoa agreement is such a broad one. So let them tell us that this is what in each line, this is what we have agreed to in the Samoa agreement, because it's supposed to sort of develop the country. That's why they signed it, by the EU. But now it's looking as if the only thing that they're signing the Samoa agreement for is for LGBTQ rights. I mean, That's crazy.
I feel like most of the times where we actually need details of what's going on, we don't get to see it. So it's only influencing kind of wahala that we used to
That we
hear,
get to see.
but it's fine. So moving on to New York Times newspaper, right side of the newspaper has platform is abortion stand to suit Trump, documents meant his control of Grand Old Party, that's the GOD. Next to that, refusing to exist, Biden denounces critics in party in a letter and on TV. First replied to doubters, challenge me at the convention. By the left has a compromise. France needs it, disdains it. Okay, next to that, Russian strike levels children hospital in Kyiv. The last headline on the newspaper has companies work on eggshells in push to reduce plastic use. So the headline that particularly intrigues me is platform ease abortion stand to suit Trump. Documents meant his control of Grand Old Party, that's GOP. Now, the new Republican platform, influenced by Donald Trump, adjusts its stance on abortion to align with his views. It reduces specific policy details across various government areas and emphasizes nationalism and protectionism over social conversion, literally. So, why this kind of intrigues me is because, you know, we spoke about the fact that, or earlier this week, I came up to say that there's election coming on in the US, right? And you see both the Republican and the Democrats having this back and forth, with the Democrats saying, okay, should we still leave Biden or should we take him out? Even in the news, Biden is already telling them that, don't worry, that Trump don't have a stand. Even when like, they can literally see that Trump has a higher ground. He's still standing on his ground. He's like, you know, I like that one positivity. But why this kind of makes me, why I actually picked this headline, right, is because you now see Trump too doing his own. So him now is not trying to adjust some laws or trying to now tell them, you know, this, what do they call this thing now? These promises they make before they enter. What do they call that? Manifestos, God bless you. So you see him now trying to bring up his manifesto and like, don't worry, when it comes to abortion, this is how we are going to do it. So he's trying to make sure that whatever plan that he has is in line with the Americans' plan or Americans' belief and all of that. So I don't know, but let's just see. Let's see who wins at the end of the day, because this whole struggle is
whoever wins.
Is becoming thicker.
Whoever wins, I just feel like what they say, while the manifesto is very important, is implementing it that matters the most. Whether the manifesto is good, because in some cases you see manifestos that are
good
racist. There are racist manifestos just because they're trying to buy maybe the love of one race. But most of the time, when they get into power, that's when we will know whether it work or be no work, or they will do anything or they will not do.
The most interesting of it all is the fact that currently Trump has a case in court and is running for position. Interesting. We go on a short break. This is where we wrap up the headlines across the globe. We're going on a short break to be back with our guests. Today we will be talking about PCOS. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Imagine the world where the voices of the youth finally get the spotlight they deserve.
Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the groundbreaking show where young minds unite together to tackle issues that truly matter.
We're flipping the script on traditional morning talk shows, and this is your chance to hear the youth speak out.
We're not just skimming headlines, we're diving deep into the heart of topics that impact us all.
From politics to governance, tech innovations, mental health, and trendy social issues.
We don't just discuss, we ignite conversations that inspire change and spark action.
Join us every morning for fresh, young, and vibrant perspectives
that empowers the next generation to make a difference.
Start your day right with Ways Breakfast, because when the youth speak, the world listens. Ways Breakfast, weekdays at 8 a.m. live on Upgrade TV.
It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. As mentioned earlier, today, Wednesday, is when we get to talk about health and wellness tips. And today we will be talking about PCOS and how it affects 6 infertile women in Nigeria. Statistics in Nigeria said PCOS is common between 13.8% and 18.1% amongst the population of women in their reproductive age. Key fact of PCOS states that it affects an estimated 8 to 13% of reproductive age women. Up to 70% of affected women remain undiagnosed worldwide. PCOS is also believed to be the commonest cause of anovulation and a leading cause of infertility. It is also believed to be associated with a variety of long-term health problems that affect physical and emotional well-being. PCOS runs in families, but there are ethical variations in how PCOS manifests itself and how it affects the people. Today, we will be speaking to a consultant obstetrician, a gynecologist trained locally and abroad with passion in care for women and reproductive health in general, and owner of a fertility center, as well as a specialist hospital, M2 Specialist Hospital here in Lagos, Nigeria. Join me as a welcome to the show, Dr. Olusanjo Moses. Good morning to you, sir. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Good morning, Mira.
Thank you very much. Yes, we can hear you very well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Morning.
Yes, please. So I'll be reading out a couple of tweets that trended recently about how people feel every Gen Z in their definition is either dealing PCOS or one of the general issues. I'll start with this. This tweet here says, Gen Z girls and having one serious ailment, can't wrap my head around it. Someone replied, he said, it's the careless lifestyle. Another person says, PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, cysts, etc. are all rampant these days. Another one says, there's big belly pandemic, 22-year-old girl already having a big stomach. Then there are a lot of, okay, faced with the same issue with my former girl. I really liked her. She liked me too, but she had issues. And there are a lot and lot of tweets like that. So another person says, it's either PCOS, fibroids, ulcer, hormonal imbalance. There is almost no young woman battling one or two diseases these days. Is crazy as F. It's hereditary too, bro. So choosing a woman means you've condemned your kids to the same fate. And it boils down to today's topic, which is, can PCOS be cured or managed? Now, I'd like to ask, doctor, what exactly is the cause of PCOS and how is it diagnosed?
Okay, good morning once again. Thank you for the introduction. So you have made my job very easy, at least knowledge. PCOS is simply polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's quite common amongst the women in reproductive age group. It is not cancerous. It's just what I'll put as a hormonal imbalance. And it has different ways it can manifest. It's not the problem of any Gen Z or whatsoever. It has been there. The only thing is that maybe the Gen Zs are lettered. The Gen Zs are reading. You know, it has always been there. So it's not a problem of Gen Z. It has been there before the Gen Z generation, and it's still there. Yes, it can be managed, but let me say emphatically, polycystic ovarian syndrome cannot be cured. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning. Hi there. It's so nice to have you speak about PCOS, because we have a lot of women, now speaking up about their various issues. And from this tweet, you see that some people now have too much information that they now feel like all women have one issue or the other. But there's also fake news, there's credible information about PCOS. But how can we tell like the difference between, credible information about PCOS and the fake news that is always easier to travel around?
So I'll put it out there. So you want to know who has PCOS. Usually, like I said, you can can recognize as a gynecologist either if a woman has inability to see her menses, the menses is irregular one way or the other. Sometimes you menstruate once in 3 or 4 months. That may be a pointer. Some women develop male pattern of hair distribution, having hair on the chest, the arms, and all of that. That can be an evidence of high testosterone in you. And again, ultrasound. Everybody has access to ultrasound. So acne too. So these are ways. But, they have different forms of manifestation. But these are telltale signs that can point to a woman, having PCOS. But of course, as a gynecologist, I know if a woman has irregular menses, that may not necessarily be PCOS. So you need a combination of all of these things I've discussed. So, not in this having a male pattern, the likelihood of having a PCO, is there. And some women can just go for ultrasound scan, things that may suggest polycystic ovary. And what does that mean? You see small eggs, in the ovaries, and and that will be a pointer. So it's not just one symptom or sign. You need a combination of. But it's quite common. 1 out of 10 of women in reproductive age group has PCOS.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Moses. So you spoke about the fact that it can be PCOS can be cured, but it can be managed. So put us on how can it be managed?
Yes, like I said, when you see your gynecologist, either for not seeing menses, the management has to be tailored. For instance, a young lady of 22-year-old coming to a gynecologist with irregular menses and PCOS have been diagnosed, and she's not married. The management will be quite different from a 32-year-old married,
I agree,
which presents absent menses. In the 32-year-old, infertility will be the center of the management. So because PCOS will prevent a woman from ovulating. So the management is towards getting her to ovulate so that she can get pregnant. However, the one of 22-year-old with delayed or absent menses, and she's not pregnant and is PCOS, you want to give some medications, for instance, birth control pills.
Okay.
Doctor, are you still with us?
Menses. So the management has to be tailored with the need. So there must be by the clinician so that you can have an impact on her. But more importantly, I must say here, it is the health implications of PCOS that is much more important than PCOS. For instance, women with PCOS later in life may develop type 2 diabetes. They may develop endometrial cancer. Some even have sleep disorders. So, you know, the management in a holistic manner must take care of the health implications of PCOS much later in life.
And consultant, I'm curious because there was a point in my life where I missed my period for like 7 or 8 months, although it was because I had a surgery done. And when I was at the clinic, I was told that it's hormonal imbalance. But I was also told that hormonal imbalance happens for 3 months. Now, there's common myth for 3 months, but mine went for 8 months. And I was super scared. I had pelvic scan done. I had different scans before I realized, okay, it's not PCOS. It's just normal hormonal imbalance and my body trying to regulate and then have a new period span. Now, there's a common myth that PCOS is caused by diet and lifestyle because right now it feels like a Gen Z thing. Throwback to our parents' generation, there's nothing like PCOS. There's nothing like irregular period flow because it's believed that they eat a lot of vegetables, fresh fruit, drinks, fresh palm wine, fresh everything. Is it true that PCOS is caused by diet and lifestyle? And then what causes PCOS? I really want to know. If it cannot be cured, they should just be like HIV. We understand, okay, it is caused by something. We know it cannot be cured, but we know that it is caused by something. What causes PCOS? And then is it caused by diet or lifestyle, or is it just flying around?
Okay, thank you very much. So it's important for us to have an idea of how PCOS is, you know, women come down with PCOS. PCOS, there's a combination of genetic or hereditary, predisposition in some women with PCOS and lifestyle, lifestyle changes. If a woman is obese, because the underlying theme is chronic anovulation, there's a problem along the ovary, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. I'm trying not to get so technical. What I can put it as is there is a normal woman should menstruate every month. And when you menstruate, eggs are released. But in women with PCOS, these eggs never attain maturity. And they build up in the system to such a level that the menses is irregular. And you have accumulation of some hormones. For instance, the testosterone, which is androgen, will be elevated, which is responsible for all of the hirsutism you see in them. The small eggs in the ovaries that should be released every month never get to maturity, and that way there is an ovulation. If you do not ovulate, the consequence is such that the lining of the womb, endometrium, gets thickened, and over time it can overgrow itself and the woman can see irregular bleed. That is not normal menses. So there's an interplay between genetic predisposition as a lady, which is not your fault, and lifestyle. Women with PCOS, most of them can be obese because obesity itself, the extra fat in the body, in the skin and elsewhere, get converted to estrone, a form of estrogen that can further perpetuate this cycle of anovulation, increase the testosterone, and what have you. So definitely lifestyle changes. So if you have a woman with PCOS and you are obese, reducing weight to about 10% of your body mass can significantly impact on your lifestyle and menses. So that is just what it is. Chronic anovulation, because you are not ovulating, that itself is the precursor to many other signs that you see in PCOS. It's anovulation. So because you are not ovulating, that is why you have all other symptoms and signs following PCOS.
Okay, sir. I think you mentioned something about being diagnosed and I'm wondering the affordability of this. You being a fertility doctor, sometimes you see in a lot of cases people maybe middle class and maybe the upper class, it's easy for them to go to a fertility hospital or something to get diagnosed. And in one way or another, I think everybody has had one mild issue, whether irregular period or hormonal imbalance or something that has to do with, mental health. First, what's the affordability of getting diagnosed for people, for the female masses? And then secondly, is it possible for someone who has maybe given birth before to now, maybe that period where you have not produced a child, maybe in another 5-year period, you have difficulty. Maybe you had plans that, okay, I'm going to give birth to one son, and then after 2 years, I'll give birth to another one. And you now realize that after the first one, it takes you 10 extra years before you can even give birth again, and sometimes maybe never again. So do you think that somebody who has also given birth can still have PCOS?
Yes. A woman who has given birth, they ovulate in such an erratic manner that this month you can have ovulation, 3 months no ovulation. So somehow they can get pregnant on their own, but it could be difficult, such that you dance from your doctor. And that itself is why many women, I think the anxiety initially is, oh, why am I not seeing my menses regularly? That is why most young ladies will see their doctor. And the doctor, with that knowledge, knows that, okay, there are parameters when you scan a woman. These days, scan is very cheap. You can go, it's the recognition that is important. So amongst clinicians too, you have doctors who scans women regularly. You should be able to, pick that polycystic ovary. And once you do that, it may be suggestive. You now do some other investigations, blood investigations. You want to check your hormones. And there is a pattern to this hormonal imbalance. I don't want to bore you with all of the details. But yes, it is affordable. It's not expensive.
Okay.
An average, most of the government hospitals, you can easily walk in there if you cannot see a private, a gynecologist in private practice. To diagnose, what I would say right now is that because we do scans a lot, is that it's within the reach of most Nigerians. That is why it is coming up. And most of our girls are reading online. So there's a lot of awareness to this condition. It has always been there. We have always been saying it, that 1 out of 10 women can have PCOS. When you do your gynae clinic, you try to see how many women coming. At least you see one of them in that reproductive age group coming down with PCOS, having PCOS rather.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much, Doctor. We have to go on a short break right now, and then we'll return with some of the videos that have been trending on TikTok. Because right now, TikTok seems to be the new Google. Everything happens there. There are a lot of untrained gynecologists and consultants on TikTok. We play a couple videos when we return. Please stay with us. We are having the conversation. Can PCOS be managed or cured?
My name is Olaban Ralph Obionha. We offer you a wonderful shopping experience when you come to Olario Furniture. It's safe for you to park here. We have a lot of parking space. It's relaxing. It's peaceful when you come here. And we have all the products that you need. We have the expertise that you need for your interior design process. Just come. This is a one-stop shop for you to design your project, whether hospitality, commercial, or residential. You are at the right place when you come in. We solve all your problems that you have.
How do I manage PCOS? Honestly, nobody taught me anything. It's just me experimenting on myself. For the past 3 years, I have experimented on myself. And some months it works, some months it doesn't work. And we move on regardless. One thing that has actually worked for me is routine. I put myself on routine. When to sleep, because I rarely sleep. So I always want to be on my bed at a particular time. So I know that my body has adjusted or should adjust to that particular time to sleep. When to eat. Really, I'm not on a diet, but I've restricted myself from eating a lot of things. From eating sugar, I don't eat sugar, I don't take noodles, I don't take bakery products. A lot of things I don't eat. And I try to be active. I noticed once that once I'm very active, once I wake up at the right time, once I sleep at the right time, I get to see my period, I get to be more energetic.
Nigerian fruit you can eat even with PCOS. Number one is rice, and it's good because it has its own minerals and vitamins. And this includes your white rice, brown rice, basmati rice, any kind of rice you can think about. If paired properly with vegetables, it won't spike up your sugar level. So if you want to eat your meals, you add.
You're welcome back. We are still having the conversation around PCOS, and we've seen a couple videos that I saw on TikTok about ladies talking about PCOS. These ladies have a number of followers, and their followers are always asking, "Oh, Mama, what can I eat to ensure my diet?" Doctor, are you still with us?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Please. I'm
so
here.
They're always asking questions, and they're always answering them. Okay, don't eat dairy products. Okay, don't eat rice, don't eat beans. Now look at their faces. Is it that they have acne, and which is like one of the major reasons why that we even know ladies dealing with PCOS, symptoms of ladies dealing with PCOS. Now, I'm curious, because how do we differentiate credible information from fake information? There are a lot of doctors right now. Don't eat dairy products, don't eat sugar, sleep early, sleep late, this, that. How do we differentiate credible information from fake information when it comes to PCOS?
Well, to the first lady, in fairness to the first lady, she's just trying to tell you her own experience and what has worked for her. And it looks like she's a little bit plump. She may be obese, and generally there are information you can, there are some lifestyle modifications you can do that will generally work for anyone, regardless of PCOS or not. So all of what she has said are general information. For instance, it is good to keep your calorie intake. If you are obese, you try to watch most of the things you eat. I don't want to mention products, but all of those things, things that can easily, like I said, look at PCOS. You may have PCOS in your 20s, and then when you get to 40, 45, diabetes may manifest. So if you are the type that know you have PCOS, so it is important that you must have some lifestyle modifications that will help you. She talks about exercise, tries to be active. That generally helps anyone and everyone. Like I mentioned to you, management of PCOS can be short-term and a long-term basis. I would rather come back. We can talk about the health implications of PCOS, where we can talk about hypertension, we can talk about diabetes, we can talk about cholesterol, we can talk about endometrial cancer, because those are much more important sequelae of PCOS. A lot of young people can get away with a lot of things while you are young. But when you get to middle age and you continue your lifestyle, you will definitely come down with some of these conditions most of the time. But when you try to imbibe some of these lifestyle modification, general lifestyle, for instance, it's better you fast than you being a glutton, eating all the time. It is better you don't consume most of these dairy products, because anything you can do to avoid unnecessary weight gain, it will impact on your health at the end of the day. So yes, she's right. That lady is right. And she has said, I think she mentioned too that most of the restrictions, she was able to sleep. PCOS has been linked with sleep sleep disturbances, and all of that. So the management of PCOS can be on the immediate. For instance, you want to get pregnant, the doctor will try to see how to make you ovulate and get pregnant. You want to see your menses, the doctor will try and give you drugs to regulate your menses. You are bleeding excessively, there are hormonal manipulations. So the management is tailored to initially your worrisome problem. Then on the long-term basis, you want to manage, and that is where your clinician is very important. There must be regular follow-up. There must be a routine lifestyle modification, because that's at the center of it all. And because if you don't do all of these things, 50% up to 50% of women with this condition may come down, and may come down with one or two health complications later on in future.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Now we'll be taking calls and WhatsApp messages and comments from our viewers. With the WhatsApp number and the call number we displayed on the screen now, while I take a comment from our YouTube page. This is coming from a Gotham Mass Choir, which says, I think this message should be spread down to the commoners, as ignorance won't let them have the knowledge about PCOS. Kudos to the presenters. God's beauty, over to you.
All right, so I would like to take, I want to talk about the mental health, or how people that are suffering from, I don't know if I should use the word suffer now, because that word is sounding somehow to my ears, right? But are dealing with PCOS. So now let me take a tweet, right? So this person said, on my own is that I have to focus, I have to force my girl to take medications every time she's having an issue. Like, try and take care of yourself. Any small thing you want to give up. So you see that this PCOS thing is really hitting on us really hard. So not just to the female, but to the male as well. Because if you check through your tweets, right, like those tweets you sent, you see that a lot of men were actually complaining. One was saying, I dated 4 different girls. 2 were having stomach ulcer. This one was having PCOS. This one was having
endometriosis.
Do you see? So it's a lot. So my question is, how can we manage our mental health with the fact, coupled with the fact that we are suffering from this whole PCOS thing? So how can we balance it?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, we must accept that these days we have the advantage, the merits of the social media, and we have the demerits. A lot of things fly around. I do not believe any woman with PCOS should be stigmatized. Our too should have enough knowledge that this condition has always been there. The difference now is that our ladies are more knowledgeable. they read, and then while they read, some really get anxious. But where managing mental health, it starts with knowledge. When you know that this condition is manageable and they live normal life, they have children. So I do not see, with adequate knowledge, like what we are doing now, a lot of women can find hope with the condition. And I truly believe once we continue to, we embark on a campaign, we continue to educate the public, the anxiety, the mental health will improve. Because what is lacking is knowledge. So we must continue to, encourage ourselves and continue to talk to our women and our men indeed. Most women who have one condition or the other, for instance, let me just try and divert a little bit. If you have a woman in the 20s, and when you do not have, of course, at that time, that your priority is not to get pregnant. But because of education or some other things, we have many of our women in their 30s, and they are not pregnant
Doctor, please,
yet.
we have Anna on standby. Let's take this call. I'm so sorry, Doctor. Anna, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You're live.
Yeah, good morning. Please, I just want to ask the doctor a question.
Can you turn down the volume of your TV set a bit?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. Please, I want to ask the doctor a question. What of most we women that did family planning, and for like 2 months, sometimes 3-4 months, we will not see our period? Does it have any effect on PCOS? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let me quickly answer that. It depends on there are different types of family planning. If you use hormonal family planning that contains hormones, you may likely miss 1 or 2 periods. And some of them may give some irregular menses as well. So an effect on PCOS, like I said, it may, because PCOS itself is hormonal imbalance. So you don't know which is which. Is it the family planning that is causing the absence in menses, or the PCOS? So it's neither here nor there. But yes, you can have irregular menses or absent menses following family planning if it is hormone based. There are family planning methods who do not contain hormones.
Okiki, you've been burning to ask different questions. Please shoot.
First, I want to ask something that's been on my mind, and it's the fact that you have a lot of women who have maybe a lot of acne. Sometimes they are adding unnecessary weight in some, unwanted areas. But when we now dive deep into people who now recommend creams and all those things, and they say they will clear your acne. So this time you are treating symptoms rather than the actual cause of your problem. So you treat your face just for your body to look nice, and then you are getting fat. They now start giving you supplements. They start telling you that there's weight loss supplements where you now start adding weight in the right places. So the thing keeps going on in my mind that, okay, so if I have acne now, am I supposed to be thinking about PCOS, or I'm supposed to be thinking about the next cream to buy to make sure that I clear my face out? So how do we handle such situations?
Yes, so let me just put it out there. Every acne cannot be associated with PCOS. Let's get that clear.
Okay.
Every obesity cannot be associated with PCOS. So that is where the misinformation comes in.
Exactly.
With social media, everybody is doing their thing. So, like I said, the knowledge is very important. If you have acne, the best thing you should do is to see your dermatologist. Your dermatologist is in a better position to manage your acne. Now, if you are seeing your gynecologist first, and he was the one that made the diagnosis of PCOS, or you have acne, I'm sure the gynecologist would like to, especially there are first line management for acne. If he tries the first line management and he's not getting results, he may refer you to your dermatologist, who is in a better position to help with the acne. Like you mentioned, it could just be a symptom of a bigger disease. So why try to treat the symptom and not address the condition, the clinical condition? And most of the time, like I mentioned, management of PCOS must be tailored. Management in woman A, lady A, may be different from lady B, but they may have the same condition. I hope that's clear. So once we get that, one cap cannot fit all. The management must be individualized. I hope that is clear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very clear. In fact, I don't know. A lot is just going through my mind. But then, doctor, I want to ask something. Maybe not directly related to PCOS, but there's this tweet that I've been seeing that male doctors and females that come for gynae have issues. It's oftentimes heard that male doctors oftentimes sexualizes the female patients that come to their clinic. Is it really true? Does it really happen? Or is just make-believe or just hearsay? Is there any case, or according to your line of experiences working in different hospitals, have you ever like seen or treated a case of a male doctor assaulting a female? Because it happens. To be honest, at times you go to a gynae clinic and the way they talk to the ladies, I don't know. I don't understand why a doctor will be giving a female his number after touching her in I don't want to say wrong places, in weird places. Is it true? Do they actually happen?
Well, this borders on ethics of the profession. So gynecologists are trained doctors. I do not expect any gynecologist to do that. I mean, in fact, most doctors. So doctors are professionals. However, you may have, in people who are different, but with the standards are there. The ethics are there. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, most gynecologists, well, I hope my colleagues will not take me on this. I think most are male. And the experience is that most women prefer the male gynecologist. That's my experience. Once a woman sees
interesting,
they prefer the male counterpart to treat them than the female counterpart. I'm telling you, that's my experience with
Doctor,
gynecology.
any reason why? Is there any specific reason why they want a male gynecologist?
Yeah, maybe they see a father in that gynecologist. They see a brother. A connection. They believe they can be protected. They believe this man is dead. So he's, and above all, they believe he knows what he's doing. Well, the female we are fantastic. My teachers, best gynecologists in Nigeria, as they are females as well. I can tell you, many of my teachers are ladies. But my little experience, especially with the younger ones, they actually prefer the male.
Doctor, don't you think that it also has to do with the fact that we feel that we are more judged by people that have more information of what is going on? Because I can see that, okay, if I'm going to be telling another female something that is wrong with me, she may be like, your own plenty, I never experienced something like this. So it feels more relaxing to tell a male who would rather, be empathetic or sympathize with you than somebody that might tell you that, oh, there's a lot of things going on with you. I never experienced this. I never experienced this.
Especially when it comes to, when was the last time you had sex? And you're like, okay, maybe like last week. And like, oh, how old are you again?
How old are you?
Do you understand? It happens.
Doctor here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Well, it has to do, like he said, a lot of the ladies, think the men can protect them, keep their secrets. And of course, there is a doctor-patient relationship. Once the relationship is kept, and it's based on trust. It's based on trust. So the the client, I like to call them clients, trust the doctor, and the doctor has that responsibility. So it's a mutual trust, and it's a delicate relationship for that matter. So I think where you have a problem along the line, you may have, you may have some of those things that Mira talks about. So generally, it has to border on ethics of the profession, the doctor-patient relationship, and the outlook, the patient, the outlook of the clinician, of the doctor. So it's based on trust, mutual trust. Let me put it that way.
Thank you very much, Doctor. As we begin to wrap up, God's beauty, your final question. Okay, so in 2 minutes, or maybe in a minute, I would like to hear your thoughts on technology, right? How can technology impact, or the role technology can play in the PCOS management?
Oh, a lot. A lot. For instance, technology in terms of imaging. These days you have very good pictures. You have the 2D, 3D, and 4D scans that can pick up, PCOS. You have, in terms of hormonal assay, there are some without some hormones not within our reach before now. With technology, we are able to assay them, and they're able to help you in the management of PCOS. Of course, again, in information dissemination, you can easily have groups, in the digital world, you can see a lot of information out there that people can easily read or have knowledge about PCOS. So yes, technology can help with PCOS, can help us with in the management of PCOS. And this is where we wrap up the show for today. Thank you very much, Dr. Olusanjo Moses, gynecologist, consultant, obstetrician. Thank you very much for taking your time to educate us on the adverse effects, the symptoms, the cure, management of PCOS. We really, really do appreciate you. Yeah, so maybe I should just say this. I hope I did not confuse you. Rather,
you're able to convince me. Nice one.
Yes, you did great. You did great.
Well done, Doctor. And this is where we wrap up the show for today. We'll come your way again tomorrow. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Let's do this again tomorrow. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.